This bike is special now. What is up, guys, and welcome back to another day of tearing in to our CVO RR. Last time you saw us do this, we modified the exhaust muffler and made it, in our opinion, look much better and sound much better. So today, what we want to do is bars and risers. Really cool on this bike is the nameplate with the 73 131. Juan's like barely saying hi. He's just like hanging out, getting ready.
I'm good.
Say hi, Juan.
What's up? How's everyone doing?
We have the top clamp that has 73 of 131. They only made 131 of these bikes, but we want to use this top clamp, but we really don't want to use these bars. We're going to need to change the risers out because I think what we're going to go with is a set of our Thrashin mid-bend bars. With that being said, we've been working on something, a new product that will be coming in the next couple of weeks. We may or may not be able to have that on this bike, but we have plans of, imagine our mid-bend bars, but made out of a different material and able to fit the 1.25" risers on that bike. We need to take the risers off. We need to take the bars off. We need to scan some stuff because the goal is to make a set of risers that work with this top clamp, look similar to this, function similar to this, but probably come up a little bit and back a little bit.
I think that'll be the hot ticket. We just need to see how much higher we can go and how much further back we could go.
And the goal is to also use the stock cables, the stock clutch, the stock brake. But I wanted to show you guys this. Here's one of the measurements that you can feel when you're riding on the bike. So not only, the bike feels like this. Here, let me sit on it. So when you sit on this bike and you sit all the way back into the pocket of the seat, it's not an awful stance, but it is quite wide. Measure the bars from outside to outside. Check this out over here. You are 36 inches, 3 feet wide handlebars. I'm not used to that. None of our other bikes here in the shop have 3 foot wide handlebars. On this bike, technically same chassis bike. This is a set of our mid-bend bars. We're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 32.5 inches wide. So a couple inches narrow, like you can imagine, the other bars are this much wider. From there to there, so 3.5 inches or something like that. Bring the bars in a little bit, and then even here, I don't want to get away from. The bummer is we haven't seen that top clamp, which, like you said, Juan, we looked like through the carbon and it looks like a pretty sweet top clamp. We may leave that carbon to sell off the bike anyways. But one bummer is on this bike, what's super comfortable is we have the 2 locations where we're able to mount the risers. And we actually mount the risers nearly 1.25 inches closer to us. Keeping that in mind as we make these risers, how much pullback we're gonna need to give them, how high we're gonna need to go, as well as using a set of bars like this. Let's go start taking that thing apart. Let's go measure some stuff, see what we need to design. Because the bike may sit here for a couple days. The goal is to try and do this whole project within the week. Bars are able to move now that it's on the stand, and we're gonna go ahead and start removing this carbon fiber nacelle, which is quite nice. Factory Harley-Davidson. Pop that off, remember that? Did it break?
Did not break.
Nice. All right, another cool thing about this project and in this episode is our goal is to go from tearing this bike apart to 3D scanning the risers, showing you guys how that's done, showing you how it goes into Juan's computer to the machine, getting machined. We're gonna show you the whole process, machining the risers and installing them back on the bike. That is our goal, and we're hoping we can do that within the week. So, little Phillip, maybe 3/8. Actually looks like 3/8, maybe smaller, I don't know. Hey, before we do this, we should probably put the tank cover on it.
These have always broken.
What's always broken?
These little screws. I'm trying really hard not to. Oh, I got it out.
Thing looks clean. You could just use our carbon fiber lock cover. This part looks pretty sweet. It would be a little bit of work, not a ton, but we would need to clean up this wiring if we wanted to leave it exposed. But it's a pretty cool site. You can see all the coloring, ball end mill work. There is this like little like kind of plastic, which is funny because it's not holding anything really. Oh, I guess they're holding it right there. 6-inch riser. So a 6-inch riser, if we're gonna measure like center of the riser. These are rough numbers. We're just using a tape measure. 6.5 on the bar, center on center. 12.5 from triple clamp to center of bars. I think we're gonna be able to get a little bit more height out of it because we're gonna try to come in a little, nearly 1.5 inches on each side of the handlebars, which would allow the cables to come up. Mostly worried about the clutch and the brake cable. It's not the end of the world if we had to change it, but it would be nice to not have to change it. there's plenty of electrical cable excess that we could get away with going up on the bars with. So next would be undoing the plugs, taking the clutch and the brake off, and then removing the bars. All right, so they've got these pretty dialed in locations for the clutch and brake cable that are mounted on the risers. Juan and I were discussing, are we going to implement this on the set of risers that we do? What do you think, Juan?
I think we got to do it. We got to keep it clean and continue on that theme of like OEM plus.
The other question is, this is the beginning of it. Now these risers are powder coated black. That would take probably 2 to 3 days for us to get it done, but we also might be able to just machine the risers with really nice coloring on it like this.
That I think we got to sleep on.
Yeah, and see, maybe they might come out and you're like, dude, we can't cover up these machine marks. Like, I think we switched these out to the ARPs. Bro, these Torx, they kind of get pretty worked. You want to do it on the bike? It's kind of nice.
There's your big ending.
This plastic stuff.
So now we're going to go ahead and remove the electronics out of the handlebars. All right, all the parts you've taken off so far.
Be graceful. Maybe a little. Maybe it's just a Loctite.
I mean, you're undone. I turned the bars and risers. We're almost there. All right, there they are. There it is. Kind of interesting. They have this bushing. Yeah, this one's mushed out like crazy right there. You can see all the clear on the outside versus this one has a little bit right there, but not a lot. Oh, that's a 10, dude. All right, so they're using metric. Got it? That would be the only piece we're keeping.
There it is, dude.
Here's the risers. Kind of interesting how they have that little keyway kind of on the bottom. All right, something we just noticed. I was staring at them. I'm like, do we know which one's left or right? And I saw it had the bolting locations on both sides, but you can see this one is kind of marred up on the right side, and the left one with two. But I think it's one.
I know
number.
this one is the one that has a ground, and I put the cable on there.
But look at watch.
Yeah, but there's the thing. Yeah. Oh, dinged it.
But it is a one part number riser, meaning that the left and right are left and right both. All right, what do we got, Juan?
Our lock cover that works with our billet tree.
As well as an OEM tree.
Yep.
So you can see it is twill carbon and it flows. We could run that option and delete the whole carbon fiber nacelle. We'll figure out what we do. All right, what do you got your hands on? What have you done so far?
I mounted it to our scanning fixture.
Old trees.
And we're gonna spray paint this.
All right, show me what it is.
ASUB. It's a 3D scanning spray, so if you try to scan a shiny or reflective surface, it doesn't pick it up that good. So this is gonna give it a matte finish and allow the scanner to see that. It evaporates.
One part number riser, right?
Yep.
So you only need to scan one.
That's true.
And then scan the top clamp so you can have the gap.
We match this.
Yeah, true. But then we can't look at a cool one on the computer. Where'd you learn how to do this?
School.
Did you actually?
It wasn't as easy as it said. It was actually a lot harder. But
Really?
yeah, we did do some.
So you guys what it's starting to do on the computer. That is the riser right there. He's collecting the data.
See, everyone thinks that all the stickers on this little stool were for fun, but it's part of my 3D scanning setup.
We went from this.
So now we have it here, but we still don't have all the information we need. So I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling all the features or the measurements that I need to start designing. So it's probably gonna take another hour.
Well, will that give you the measurements?
Yeah, so I need to, like, in this program, this is like part of the scanning program, but I need to tell it, like, draw a plane here, give me this measurement, like all the features that I'm gonna need to build on, I need to tell the program I need it, because it doesn't just give you all the information.
Okay, so spin that thing around. Let's see what.
Here you go, like that.
Sweet.
So like we need to get planes for here, get all the measurements for the cylinders, the heights, pull like all these things. So a process. It's probably gonna be a little boring, so we're gonna fast forward it for you guys. And then I'll bring it into SolidWorks and we'll start drawing.
Cool. While Juan is going over all of the riser details and working on that on the computer, I wanna show you another project that he worked on months ago. I mean, this has to have been 6 to 8 months since we started this project. We really do kind of like the OEM style mirrors, and that's why we've always ran them. We don't want to shift too far away from this look. So we were talking about it. How do we do mirrors? How do we make them different? How do we make them cool? What's something that we would want to run? So what we came up with was a mirror that is 30% smaller. Let's put this mirror in. You can see when I put this here, it's smaller than that mirror. As well as we kind of went with the OG style post. It says Thrashin Supply on there. It says Thrashin Supply there. These are smaller, has the Thrashin logo. Top it off, we did some sick designs. Flames, chrome, finned chrome, and then a smooth chrome and black. These will be coming out late spring 2026. The bar and riser combo on it right now, 12.5 high. 36 inches wide. We know we're gonna take about 4 inches off of that width of the handlebar. We could probably get away with going 13.5. Taller, because we're gonna bring the bars in. But we're gonna put a mid-bend bar on it, which is 4 inches. The bar we're taking off was 6.5. So we already get 2.5 inches on the riser. But I'm thinking we can add another half to 1 inch.
Calculation. All right, I'll just go 3.0.
After scanning it, you see no pullback in this riser.
Correct. It looks visually the meat of the shaft.
What?
It's not centered, but if you see, like, this is my center line. Can
Okay.
you see this line? I'm gonna click right there.
Yeah.
It's centered with the
The
bolt
bolt.
hole, and you go right up, and it's centered with the.
Okay.
So there's no pullback there.
So we can maybe go 1.5 pullback?
Okay, that's where the new hole would be. So that's kind of what. What do you think?
I think so.
Looks a little tall, but I mean, I'm not seeing the whole picture, you know.
I think draw it up, print it out. We can put a set of 3D printed risers on the bike with mids. And
Should I
just-
make this hole 1 inch so the mids just bolt on?
I think we need the spacer either way right now, so you just might as well print a 3D spacer. Because like looking at it like that is like kind of hard.
It makes 3 inches look big, so I know you're like, hell yeah.
All right, dude.
What's up, guys? So it's the next day. A lot of progress on these risers, and check them out. So that's what we got. It's got all the mounting provisions there for the harnesses. Again, these are just prototypes. Lance has not seen these yet, so I'm gonna hit print. He'll be in on Monday. We'll put them on the bike, and then we'll see if he has any feedback for me. But we're pretty close. I'm pretty happy where they're at right now. This print is a day and 14 hours. So it's a really long print. Friday, so it'll be done on Monday, but luckily we're not super in a rush, and it's already going. It's about an hour into it, and this is how far it's gotten. This print is going to be a lot slower because I'm doing a high infill on these risers. I want them to be strong enough to hold the handlebar. We're not going to ride with it. We are going to sit on the bike and get a good idea of where the handlebar position is going to be. So I do want these to be strong enough to do that. I'm going to thread all the holes and stuff. So they're not 100% infill, but they're like 75. Also printed some spacers so we could test fit our 1 inch mid bend bars and kind of get a rough idea of where it's going to end up. So stay tuned. All right, what's up, guys? It's Monday. The print finished over the weekend. Looks like everything went well. There we go. Now there's still a little bit of work I gotta do to these. I gotta thread all the holes, get all that ready so we can go ahead and try to mock it up on the bike.
All right, guys, it's day 3 that the project has been started. Here we are with 3D printed risers, our mid-bend bars. I mean, I'm probably in about the exact same position though. I like it though.
I thinned this out already, like trying to clean this up, and then I tried to get away with making it flat, but I'm gonna make it round.
Yeah.
So it matches that better.
And I think again, we're gonna try to do, you know, the same coloring and kind of like match that. Unless we're gonna powder coat it, you know? Like we could go ahead and go OE plus, but like what if the whole riser had that same coloring? All of these lines, all that coloring, that takes a lot more machine time. It could take up another half hour of.
I think we're close, but there's a couple of revisions I want to do. Again, to like skinny up this area. It just looks too chunky. Like Lance said, we need to decide if you're going to do the coloring to match. Do you want to go back more, higher?
I know,
more?
I feel like, I think I want to have them like there. I like the mid bends. Yeah. I like the way these sweep. Yeah. I mean, if anything, if we were able to get high bend length out of it, I would want to just increase the riser height.
Do you increase the riser height or increase the pullback?
I don't know. I feel like if we increase the pullback, it's like the bars will be too much in this pocket maybe. I mean, you know, I kind of want to go higher with it, but let's now, if we bolted this down, watch, hold this here, just where are we at with these cables? If we don't want to adjust these cables or change them, can we get more height out of that? Like, yeah, it's like
pretty close.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't think.
You're right. Yeah, we don't have too much room to play with.
I think we've kind of got, like, I'd be curious too, like, we think we're close on cable length right now. So we're pretty close.
In height.
In height, or almost like.
Wow.
But we're close, but it is pulled back.
Yes.
The difference is though, they sweep these bars quite a bit.
They're
like,
coming towards
they're
you.
like very.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like we're like almost at the same position.
Yeah.
About 14 inches. Go over to throttle. I mean, this one's measuring closer to 13 and a half. That's 31. And that's 33. We're roughly 2 inches skinnier. I go to 14 from the bottom. I'm above the bar. 14 to the bottom. I'm pretty level with the bar. Also keep in mind, not just measurements, but I also think we're looking better. What Juan was saying earlier about making adjustments to kind of making this flow better. Theirs is powder coated cast, powder coat to imitate, or do we color to replicate the top one?
Quite a bit of changes. So we added a radius here on this profile. We shortened this, and then also it's like curved in.
Yeah.
So
okay.
it's a lot of features again. It's like a lot more machining.
Yep.
But I think it's worth it.
I think that's what's stealing a lot of it.
This here.
Yeah, because watch, if you undo that, you see what I'm saying? I'm not saying we could get away with that, but I do think that pinching it down to the riser.
I mean, we could move this higher. Oh, but it doesn't matter. So.
Yeah, you're just like, as you pinch it to it. Do you need help? Bars and risers are installed 3D printed risers. We're going to go ahead and install hand controls, or at least the levers, to get an idea of cable length and just kind of feel the bike and feel if the position of where the bars and risers is. Like Juan said, he's making changes to the risers, so hopefully we can finish this up today and get them into the machines by tomorrow. Bars, risers, controls put on, kind of test fitting the location of these pieces. All right, we're happy with the progress so far. We're heading back up to the design room to check out some of the changes that Juan has started and discuss the shape. Now that we see it in 3D and in person, it gives you an idea of what to do. Oh, what's up? Juan and I noticed that the top of the riser is a bit chunkier than we'd like, and it doesn't fully follow the flow of the top clamp. Juan has started making revisions. What do we have, Juan?
So, like I said earlier, this length, I shortened it up a little bit, and then now there's a little bit of a curvature on this plane here, and I'm gonna change the transparency. So now we're like following more closely. The darker one is, or now it's blue, is the stock one. Before we were more square, like more blocky, so now we're following that profile a little bit more. It's still not done. What it's gonna do is it's gonna match the top clamp a whole lot better.
Yeah.
It's gonna make it look a little sexier because it's thinner, less chunky. Well, what'd you decide? Are you changing height, or we're good with all that height?
I think we're
stuff?
good. I think if we go too high, I think we cleaned up the look. So she's standing away from the bike. Like it just looks like a lighter bike. Those big chunky stock bars aren't on there as well as they were a lower riser. We raised the height of the rise. I think we brought the bars in a little bit. I think it's enough. If we go too high, I think it will go too far away from the RR direction. If we can get another degree or two forward,
we can.
You know,
you're changing this, so it's gonna. You're doing this.
Yeah, I would only do it if we can do it here. with the bolts not interfering. You could ultimately, if you could angle the top angle down and the bolts still have enough meat to sink into. All right, so what do we have right there, Juan?
These are the 2D drawings. These have a little more information that the 3D model doesn't have, like the thread call out, overall dimensions and stuff like that.
So let me get this straight. You 3D drawing here. Show them what you did.
This is a final verdict version.
All
we
right.
changed the verbiage a little bit there. So
How's
now
this?
it's specific to your bike, CVO RR.
Sick. 73 of 131.
Yep, we also put our little stamp there, made in America, and our Thrashin logo, so make them look more finished. Yeah, we did some finishing touches.
So what's the reason, you know, doing a 2D drawing like
So right off the bat, it gives Rob an idea of what material he has to cut out just to get going. Instead of him having to pull this up and get measurements, like he could just look at this drawing and be like, oh, I need a 10-inch by 4-inch piece of aluminum. Also, it has the call outs of the threads.
And you can't like put that in
I
here?
have it in SolidWorks, but it doesn't transfer always over to the CNC software. Don't fully talk always. So it's always a good idea to have your 2D drawing with all the specifications. That way he could double check and confirm.
And so you did a left hand riser
And a right hand
and a right hand riser. And you did that mostly for the logo because overall the riser is the
It's
same.
the same. If you get rid of the logos and all the writing, it is the exact same component. Yeah, the only thing that's going to differentiate left from right is our logos, the writing, and the location of it. But that's what's interesting about these.
All right, guys, so we are on day 5 of this project here for the custom risers for our CVO RR. He got done with all this work. We sent this information over to Rob at the machine shop, and we just got word that he is starting to cut parts. So we're gonna go over there, show you guys a little bit of insight on what he does to go from Juan's drawings to getting it able to be machinable. So let's go check that out. All right, here we are.
How you guys doing?
What's going on?
See you.
How are you?
Awesome.
All right, so as we're making our way over towards Rob's office so he can show us what he's doing on the computer to be able to put it into his machine, we're gonna stop. He wanted to show us, is this a new machine you said?
This is a new machine. We've got it going. This is a Swiss machine, and it's able to make a lot more of the kinds of things like we do at Thrashin. You know, where we're making shift linkages, we're making things, small round parts that are long that might
It's
be
starting to
short.
work.
It's grabbing apart.
Sorry, I cut you off, but I saw it was making big moves.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. And it's gonna go in there and grab some stuff. So it's doing some milling. Now it's gonna mill the other end of the part. So it milled the front end, and now it's gonna mill the second end.
So that is a bagger linkage that we are milling right now.
Gorgeous part now. That was always a good looking part, but it's even better now.
All right, beautiful. Let's go check out what you did on the computer.
Right. All right, so we went ahead and since we're looking at this new riser, trying to make sure it matches, has some aesthetics that look like the original risers,
Yep.
but also looks like a Thrashin riser. So that's kind of trying to get both things. And so Juan designed it, makes our life easy. And then
Well, one thing that had to come from you, which even I was talking to Juan about, was the coloring. You know, how do we describe the coloring on your drawings from our end? But that's really in your hands. And you obviously knew and took from us, like, hey, we want to try to match this coloring. So I know that that came a lot from here.
I love the fact that I get to be an artist sometimes. You know, like I've been programming CNC machines for over 40 years. All of a sudden I get to do something that is a little more artistic, and it's not just making a part. Like I make airplane parts, I make all the, you know, it's like I've done that stuff my whole life, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh no, I get to make something that looks cool.
Yeah.
In doing the coloring, we came around, and I'll zoom in on this area.
Yeah, let me kind of pop in.
On the outside especially, but it's on the inside too, but we actually brought in the arrows in the part. We've got, and this is the top and bottom.
Yep.
So we can actually see the other side. And this is complete. And this has got the Made in America. I should have turned that over.
All the coloring right here, matching to what all those RR parts have on them.
Yeah. I can't wait to see the first one.
Yeah.
It's going to be so much fun.
Are you able to show us toolpath right now and kind of like a breakdown?
So I can back out of this?
Rob and I have been doing this for a decade together, and I've also been in the machining world longer than that. So I just wanted to let you guys know, I do know what is going on here. I do know a lot of these questions that I'm asking. When I ask them, I'm asking so you guys get the information, so you guys get to see what I've been able to see.
Go ahead and push play and we'll watch it cut. It does cut the front side first over here.
And keep in mind, guys, not only, yes, it's showing it cut, but he has to know how he's gonna hold it while it's cutting. So there's more and how it's gonna hold and how the machine's gonna move, what sides he's gonna do first, what sides he's gonna do second. Keep in mind, he's still gotta machine the tops, the bottoms. It's not as easy as just hit and print. So are we ready to go see some work on the machine?
Let's do it.
Made in USA. Got some linkages. All right, before we run over to the machine and start working on these risers, I wanted to show you one of my favorite scenes going on here. George is deburring some of our parts by hand, and it's an art. I love it. So sweet, touched by hand.
Really cool. It's called Thunderbar. You know, aluminum made in the USA. 7-8 pounds. Gonna weigh 1.
Wow. Yeah, I see a little bit of shaping going on right here. All right, Rob, so we walked by and we saw this standing there. What did you 3D print this for?
Yeah, so we 3D printed this. It locates on the bottom of the riser. So it locates on the bottom, and then the back side has the angles for all the holes. We can set it down and we can drill all these holes without losing position, because this is, all the angles are different than the side. So that way we can drill into it and still have support and alignment.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Takes a lot more than just hit and cut.
Yeah, it's not just go.
Yep. How long until you think you're gonna flip it?
I'm not ready to flip it yet. I have to make the second side holding. So not quite there.
Gotcha.
But first side is completely done. So let's see what we got.
With the artwork and everything?
Yeah.
Wow. You said that side's done.
All right, so now we're gonna cut second side holding in the other side, and then we're gonna cut side 2. And then once we get side 2 out, we're gonna start putting the holes in, all the different holes that go in this thing from all the different angles.
See you tomorrow. All right, guys, it's probably about day 7 of working days on this RR project. Juan, I just got word the risers are machined and done, and Rob is about to rip over on his road glide, bring the risers over, and we're about to throw them on. We got to take it back apart. We're gonna go solid bushings on this. It looks like it actually has a polyurethane, possibly maybe even a good and tight bushing on there. Not confirmed, but looks like that. We're gonna delete those. We are gonna go with a solid mount riser bushing. We do that on most of our modern M8 bikes.
You gonna show?
Yeah. All right, guys, another project. It's funny, Juan's like, dude, we started working on this thing like 2-3 years ago, but it's coming to market this spring. Be ready. Gen 2 M8 coil cover, air scoop, carbon fiber. Check it out. Air scoop, carbon fiber. Looks extremely good. It's available in carbon twill weave to match this sort of look, as well as we have it in a forged matte carbon. Very sleek. Looks good, dude. Dialed. Love that thing. All right, I hear Rob. What's up, Rob?
What are you guys up to?
Waiting for you. You got the goods? The Holy Grail. Check it out. Come on, Rob, let's go look at this together. All right, you saw some of the machining get done. We have yet to see the final product. Rob, thank you for getting this done in such a timely manner. Juan, thank you, everybody involved. I also wanted to say to you guys before I open this up, this has been the process of 80% of our parts that we've ever done. Like vision, all three of us involved, drawing on the computer to prototyping, by riders, for riders. You see Rob just rode up. We all ride the parts we're producing. We're putting them through the test. So you guys are just getting a little bit of like a sneak peek or kind of look behind the scenes on what goes down.
A little bit of the development process in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
But this could be months, if not years.
Yeah, and this, exactly, that's true. So like this one we did fast, and that's why I said thank you to Rob, right? I hit him up about this project, and I was like, we're gonna try to do risers within 1 to 2 weeks. Can you machine these? Like, can you lot out a couple days to get this done? And he was like, let's do it. So thank you for that, Rob. All right, ready? Without further ado.
Whoa! Hey, these are sick.
Wow. Dude.
How sick is that? Look at that.
So we got the coloring matched, very similar to the CVO RR parts. Engraved 73 of 131 CVO RR with all of the OE features on them for the mounting locations. You can see we went up and back quite a bit compared to stock. Went with a lot of the same features that you're gonna see on these CVO RR OEM risers, all the way from the bottom features to the mounting to even the little cutout. But again, went higher with it. Coloring, we should pull that top clamp off so we can kind of match it up, dude. Another thing that we saw, like you saw earlier in the vlog, just how they use a 1 part number riser. We did go ahead and make it a 2 part number riser for us because we wanted to do our standard USA flag and made in America marking that we do on our risers with the Thrashin bolt on the outside. So we're gonna be able to match them up to the tree here in a second. As I bring it around, some of the 131 RR components, big coloring marks there, coloring there, all the fine coloring on the mid controls. All of this is like low production pieces, and that is what we did here. Think it's gonna look better than the stock stuff.
Okay. Help me hold these out of the way.
These are 1.25 inch risers and top clamp. For now, we're gonna be doing a shim in there to use our mid bend bars, which are a 1 inch bar. But we have been working on for also several years a 1.25 inch aluminum bar.
Oh, dude, my guy's reviewing all our projects.
Those we should have spring, summer 2026, and we will be installing them on this bike as soon as they show up. So for now, we're gonna go with just our standard 1 inch mid bend bar. Still a great bar, one of our best selling bends. So. All right, now we are going to go ahead and assemble it just to get excited. We got the top clamp off, 73 of 131. We matched that on the side of the riser, 73 of 131. Another thing that you will notice on these is on the top clamp, there is a kind of like a keyway on the bottom, and you can see it on the OEM ones. Mimicked that feature on ours, so they will pair up perfectly. These are titanium bolts from the factory. Sick. Love the features, how they all meet up. It's almost too custom now. Even just looking at it real quick, like, dude, that right there looks so sick.
Heck yeah.
The bummer is it's gonna be covered.
Well, I guess it's gonna stick up.
I mean, we thought about deleting or not using this, but this is also a nice, cool feature on that bike. Get to assembly yet?
Oh yeah, we need a new set of bars, and then you said you're gonna do a solid bush.
All right.
24 plus mid bends for you.
There it is. All right. Parts secured. Got the stuff.
Nice.
This is our hard mount bushing kit. We do a 2 raw, 2 black. That way the one that is visible from the top, if you have a all black tree or black risers, you can run this one on top. If you have chrome or silver, you can run this one on top. And this bike will be running these on top.
Ready?
Got it.
You got it?
Looks like a good and tight.
What I was saying.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wire up our 1 inch mid bend. Bars are wired up. These new model bikes make it so much easier, especially because it's just plug and play top to bottom. We've got the mil spec sheath. If any of you guys are wondering, that is what we use. All right, bars are done, but now I am going to prep the risers, put the bushings in. We're gonna use the stock hardware. Use a little bit of Loctite. All right, here we go. Starting the assembly. This thing line. Plug over here to do these rides.
The whole then down.
Yeah, you're correct, so you're good. So put that there. Hold on, I want to get the top clamp. Happy with it? day now, buddy?
Hey, bro.
Upgraded to the ARP hardware. Hey, mechanical never runs out of battery, huh?
Now you're starting to fight me on digital? Okay.
All right, we are almost there. The risers are on, the trees, the bars are on, everything's looking really good.
Are you sure you're gonna cover that, dude? Oh, that looks freaking hard. Oh.
It would take a little cleaning up to do. We could, all right, wait, go grab our carbon cover. Did you have one? All right, so our carbon cover, you can see it's twill, it matches
That could be pretty
with their
freaking cool.
OEM billet setup. Like Rob and I were pointing out just how cool all this coloring looks, mimicking the OE styling with the points of contact for the cables. And it looks so good from here, look at this. All right, so here's what it looks like with no carbon nacelle. We are going to install the carbon nacelle and then we can decide what looks better. One thing that we could do is we could adjust, like move all this wiring in the frame, take off this plastic piece and put one of our billet stem caps and stem bolts on it, which would clean that up quite a bit. These are sold separately on our website. This is one of our components. Comes in twill, carbon fiber, lock cover, as well as forged carbon. You can use it with your stock lock, even with any of your stock trees. It is designed to work with our tree, but it would clean it up if you ever wanted to delete your stock plastic nacelle. The RR comes with this full carbon fiber nacelle. I know, now I'm tripping out because I don't have the cover on it. Got me all right. Just stay there, and I'm gonna come in with that piece.
It does look super clean with that cell on there. It hides some, but it does look super clean.
Rob?
Yeah. All right, guys, here's the big reveal. We'll go from the back. There it is. Look at that. The carbon leading into the carbon. Coloring on the billet aluminum to match the RR parts. Here's the view when you're sitting on it. I think it looks really good with the carbon nacelle. Styled just right. Super clean. I'm in love. It's been about a week, so I don't fully remember, but it is feeling more comfortable. But I feel a little more aggressive, like my levers are a little bit more straight. Before we would have been a little bit more like that. We were a little farther forward. They were lower of bars, they weren't up here. Let's get it off the stand. All right, so just over a week, we have a one-of-one set of risers on the RR. And now we're gonna pull it off, take it outside, get a whole view of this bike since we've done the exhaust, the risers, and a couple of the other bolt-ons we did.
Excited to see it out on the road.
Standing out, dude, what's up, dude? What, you're in shorts?
Shorts. Yeah, look at these things.
Some cords, dude? My guy's comfy, bro.
That's because it's 85 degrees out today.
Yeah.
So.
Real quick, I jumped on this bike. It's starting to feel a lot more like the red flame bagger, the other 24 model bike we have. But this bike is that inch higher. Inch higher in terms of the front forks and the rear shock. I actually can't flat foot this bike. But these bars are already feeling in the way more comfortable position.
That air induction's sick. I haven't seen that yet. I like
It's tight,
that.
right?
Sleeping good.
Oh, I forgot how much better it sounds.
All right, bike is feeling way better already. Just a quick ride over here, I'm feeling more comfortable in the positioning of the risers. I haven't really ridden this bike a whole ton recently, but holy cow. Between the risers, the exhaust, this thing is starting to feel like my bike.
I will say I haven't been here since you guys shortened the exhaust, and it sounds day and night different.
Yeah, Juan's getting his bike fired up. We're gonna go take it for a little rip in the canyons. We'll give you guys a little POV view, do a little helmet cam action.
Oh yeah, that's so much better.
It's dialed, right?
On the factory setup. I mean, not to knock the factory setup, but obviously we like the bikes a certain way, and this is nice and tight.
You notice how we did like
feel.
the coloring match this, use the stock top clamp.
Yeah, it's bitching.
And so the bike now, it feels like one of ours. It feels different. This bike is special now.
Oh yeah, this thing's freaking epic.
All right, I'm gonna go take it for a rip. Our carbon fiber cover on the bottom, all the carbon on the bike. Bike's so solid. Not only do my hands feel in more an aggressive position and I feel more confident, but also the solid mount riser bushings, just the quality of the geometry of this bike, and now with the exhaust and now with the bars and risers, the bike is, you gotta try it.
It looks like in bed.
You gotta get on it. It's so good.
This thing's a monster. Like you said, having the bars and risers solid mounted, huge game changer. It makes a bike feel proper. I don't know why they didn't do that from the factory. Like a bike ride's really good, like solid mounted. But yeah, with our risers and our bars, just feels that much more sporty, aggressive.
Yeah, it really does.
And this thing's freaking fast.
It's crazy, right? Dude, this thing's a rocket ship.
I wonder if like we picked anything up from cutting the muffler, you know, making it a little more free flowing.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, it's so sick to see that thing ripping. If you guys can't tell on the camera, he is hauling. And that just shows how much confidence. He's only been on the bike for 5 minutes. That shows how much confidence that bike gives you. He's a badass rider, I'm not taking it away, but like when you get on it, the bike feels great right away. And it feels planted to the ground. The throttle response, the suspension, really good. And the brakes are really good. But I think the things we did to it have fine-tuned it even more.
So fun.
And how much confidence does it give you? Like I said, you were on the bike for 5 minutes and you're ripping.
Dude, it feels go faster, go faster. It's like, it's just so smooth, so fast. The suspension is just so dialed. It's crazy. Like I'm thinking if we had this at the track.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, insane.
Right? And like,
so
and even
good,
just like,
too.
even though again, you don't know if the bike's faster or not, but like the exhaust notes,
Sounds so good.
the stance of the bars, like everything we've done has been so tasteful. We didn't lose the look of the exhaust, the limited badge top clamp. We enhanced it, I feel like. So
This thing
sick.
is so sick. Honestly, like I wish you guys watching could experience this. It's like no other bike. Power delivery, the suspension, and now the little tweaks we did.
Yep.
It really is something special.
All right, guys, there you have it. It's been one hell week-long project. I'm gonna tell you guys this, normally it doesn't go that fast.
Yeah.
We put the power down and we made it happen. Juan, thank you so much. Rob, who's not here with us today right now, but Rob, thank you so much for grinding away and getting those parts done for us.
Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed following along on this little like design process. Like Lance said, we do this for every part. We expedited it for this, very limited, one of one. We're stoked on how it came out.
People are gonna want these.
Yeah.
People are gonna want these. So if you have an RR and you're interested, call us.
Yeah, give us a call. It would be very, very limited, like super custom. So.
But thank you guys for following along. Now we've done the shortened muffler, the custom one of one risers. Let us know what you think we should do next. Is this thing done? Are we happy with where it's at, or should we keep on going? See you guys on the next one.
See you later.